Thank you. The idea was something that we put together at the end of 2014, and my sort of idea was that when you're an indie filmmaker, so to speak, and you got all these passion projects, and they all cost millions and millions of dollars, and you can't get them off the ground for whatever reason. And I just decided, look, let's write something rather quickly, something that we can improvise a lot, something that kind of is a very self-conscious film that sort of asks a lot of questions in terms of our post-colonial identity in Namibia, being in two spaces at the same time, and has these three sort of interconnected stories. So I wrote the script. It was a very sort of loose script that was partly improvised and partly acted as it is on page. And in terms of getting the actors, they're all people that most of them were people I know back home, and that I was able to bring on the project. And then we got Antonio David Lyons, who's here, who plays Marcus, who did an amazing job. We met about 8 years ago when I was in Los Angeles. I went to film school here in Columbia College, Hollywood, and I see Alan Gansberg, our dean of the college over there. So I was actually in his acting class many years ago, and we kept in touch amazingly. And when this project started, I reached out to him and said, "How do you feel about coming all the way out to Namibia and making a movie?" And he was incredibly giving to jump on board this project. This is Shalongo Nambala. He's the producer of the film. James. Oh, got another actor in the crowd who's hiding there. You might recognize him.
I like both films. I'm really curious as to why, for your decision to not shoot the film in color, because it was in black and white.
To not shoot the what, sorry?
The film was in black and white.
Oh,
so, and then,
just to answer the question about black and white, I think it was just also initially just a stylistic choice. I know it's cool, black and white looks cool, and it was coming from that space, but also coming from the space of being very conscious about how films from Africa look, that the African experience is being over-contextualized already through books and films, from Europe, that you expect. You gotta hear the beating drum, you gotta hear, people dancing, you're in Africa. You gotta see the sunsets, you gotta see the, vibrant colors, shaky City of God camera work. So, not that we don't have some of those elements, but there are drums. But we've seen that so much that we're oversaturated with those images. It's tribes and child soldiers. I think it was important to make that decision to sort of strip away a lot of that stuff and say, look, there are people just dealing with things. And I think the black and white was a technique in terms of trying to help to do that.
I think the film was gorgeous to look at. I'm really glad it was in black and white because visually it was just stunning from the very first moment with the trees and the clouds. And I found it, by it not being in color, I felt like I was able to feel things while I was watching it in a different way, because something about it made me focus in a different way, I think, than if, even sometimes in backgrounds when you see lots of color and stuff, like some of the interior shots where there's lots of things around, but they were more like texture instead of busyness.
Right.
So I really appreciated how it looked and how it made me feel. It was beautiful.
Thank you. Antonius Tuau, who's our director of photography. The entire crew is Namibian, was local, so it was all in-house, all locally made, except for him.
Why your choice of title, and how do you feel that title carried a theme through each of the stories you watched?
It's a good question. No, well, I was trying to articulate something that's perhaps inarticulate. Oh, see, I can't articulate that word. It's not a word. But yeah, look, exploring these three characters who are kind of caught in this space in between, perhaps spaces in society unseen. Marcus is being pulled between his family life at home and this kind of inner searching that he's doing in Namibia, as well as this, living into this part and living into this role. And we leave all sort of three characters left in this sort of no man's land, if you will. And also just looking at the idea that we're sort of very hybrid people, I think. And I think as Africans we experience this profoundly. I think people of color around the world experience this profoundly. It's not just about being a globalized humanity that we are now. It's like when you exist in all these multiple spaces and are kind of forced to play different roles in society and put on different hats and have all these different roles and experiences, you're kind of left in this space that is, hard to translate in language. And perhaps, I think, post-colonial theorists like Homi Bhabha and others have often used often explained this by saying that it's often more powerful to explore these ideas in literature. And I say the same thing in film, because there's certain experiences in life that are not, that are very difficult to express. And ideally through art, we hope to try and explore some of those things. Keep doing that. You look like you wanted to add.
No. Thank you.
So there seemed like, I love the film, both of the films. They were really both really beautiful. Really beautiful. I always wonder when it comes to parts of the film being scripted and parts being improvised. I think it worked incredibly well. For me, it really was woven into the themes, it seemed, of not knowing exactly where we're going or who we are or what we're doing here. Maybe it was a little dangerous in a way. There were moments where I was going, oh, I think we're not on a script right now. This is and it was very interesting. I was wondering how you how you decided which parts those were, and also I want to hear from Antonio how that was.
Why did you start?
It was in some ways challenging, in some ways effortless. I think that Perivi really created a story and a structure and an environment in the shooting where the lines could be blurred between, what is Antonio just arriving to work on this project and what is Marcus that's arrived to work on this project. And so that was a really, really great gift that he sort of created that space. So I think that a lot of times as actors we don't get an opportunity to be surprised by the worlds that we inhabit. That because it's so scripted, because there are all these expectations, that we have to kind of trick ourselves into creating very real moments and being in the moment. And I didn't have to do as much tricking for myself because of being immersed in the story in another space, in another culture. And Antonio went on quite an amazing journey in Namibia through this process, through the people that I met, through the environments that we were in, through the conversations that were being had. I feel like I've been fundamentally changed by Namibia in ways that I didn't even imagine. Yeah, like the press conference thing, was with some blurred lines. But it was real, it was really real. It was beautiful. Thank you for that question.
Okay, dealing with both of the movies were good, but as far as your movie being filmed in black and white, as well as The Young Ladies was filmed in black and white as well, but it had some color to it. But then there was one scene in your movie where the white guy was more or less trying to project the black image. Okay, now would you say that we're still in a black and white world?
I don't think we've ever lived in a black and white world. I don't think that we as human beings exist in a binary You know, who you were coming into the world is very different than who you are now. We're shaped by our experiences, we're shaped by our environments, the cultures that we run into and inhabit. So I don't think that's ever been true. And I think that actually the lie is that people will say that we live in a black and white world. You know, even in the US, when we look at race and politics, right? The conversation often is black and white, but it's brown and it's everything else in between and beyond. That is left out of the conversation, but doesn't mean that they're not impacted by the discussion that's being had.
Okay, I enjoyed both of the films, and I would like to know what was your budget, if this is your first film.
Okay, just quick, this is my first feature. Me and Shalongo worked as a team. We've done many shorts back home in Namibia, but this is our first feature-length film. Do you want to, producer, talk about budget?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here. I would, at this point, I want to say that it is a very small budget. I don't want to get into the numbers, right? But just to make it that it was a very, very small budget, even in comparison to anything that has come out of that side of the world. We fully funded the project by ourselves. So everything you see here is possibly, you know, what we want independent film to be like, right? So it is pure expressionism from the artist and the director, and we just put all our resources together, whatever we could find, all the help that we could get, and then particularly finances, digging into our own pockets and trying to make this film. So it's. Yeah, so basically, it was just, it was driven by the determination of telling our stories and proving that you don't necessarily need this huge budget to express yourself as an artist and to shoot a film.
I just want to know about the research you put into it, because you know so much about Egypt and ISIS and the history behind, you know, Ryan's belts, and I thought it was wonderful. But what did you do for the research? Like, how did that work out for you?
Well, I used to be into a lot of that, you know, ancient Egypt, and I've always been fascinated by Egypt. So I put in some of the images of Egypt was stuff that I shot when I was there a few years ago. And then it was working with the actor. I mean, it's primarily, I think you're meaning Anu, the rapper, a lot of his stuff. And he's into a lot of that stuff as well. So he was getting as close to as playing himself as he could in a lot of instances. I mean, he's not exactly like that, but there was a lot of him sort of playing himself, and we did that with many of the. I mean, you know, obviously Antonio and Marcus. There was he was blurring the line in terms of fact and fiction the whole way, and how he portrayed a lot of the things that he did. So it was a similar thing where a lot of that was actually scripted, but then Matthew, the actor, changed a lot of things to that made more sense to him, felt more natural to him in terms of what he spoke about. There's some historical imagery we put in there in terms of, you see images of skulls, etc. And that was sort of trying to do something that is, you know, perhaps problematic stylistically, but the intention behind it was that the past, particularly for us in Namibia, because a lot of these things are yet to be sort of dealt with in a lot of ways. We were part of South Africa for many years, so we were, you know, an extra province. So we had apartheid rule, and before that, we had the Germans who colonized Namibia. And I think part of that was, it was to sort of suggest that just behind the curtain are still all these things. And how do you contrast, you know, when we have these discussions about the past, they're sort of standardized. So it was inserting that conversation into this recalling of a glorious past in connection to ancient Egypt, which we do as Africans. But it also runs parallel with a very violent history that we've suffered more recently. And then with the contemporary imagery we're seeing of the guy and girl in the bed. So it was just layering all those conversations and finding a different way to then, you know, raise some of these issues.
All right, everyone. We're actually going to let there be just a couple of...
One more question?
Wait, no, we don't have time for one more question. We're going to have you go ahead and wrap it up, and then we're going to dismiss everybody.
Wow.
Do you have any last final thoughts that you'd like to give to everybody? have time for any more questions.
Well,
We have another
just to thank everybody for coming out and for supporting the film, and yeah.
There'll be another screening on Monday. Monday.
Information. Where do we get you guys? How do we follow you all? Say that. That's important. How do we follow you all?
There's a website, theunseenfilm.com, right, where there's a little screener of it, and then from there there's all contact information. Yeah, and you can also contact us at info@ownlocationfilms.com.